Namaskar and welcome to this special program on India's emergence as a global economic powerhouse over the last 11 years under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Most recently, in a major milestone, India surged past Japan to become the fourth largest economy in the world with a nominal GDP of $4.19 trillion. Over the last 11 years under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the country has witnessed transformative growth across industries, infrastructure, and digital innovation. Since 2014, the Indian economy has undergone significant transformation, marked by strong GDP growth, structural reforms, and infrastructure development. India's GDP per capita has increased substantially, rising from approximately $5,000 PPP in 2014 to over $10,000 PPP currently, reflecting 100% growth. More money in the hands of Indians is the result of major reforms, including goods and services tax, insolvency and bankruptcy code, and digital India initiatives. India's digital economy has played a transformative role in financial inclusion, economic empowerment, and overall growth, making financial services more accessible to millions. Unified Payments Interface has revolutionized transactions, enabling instant, secure, and low-cost payments even in rural areas. Micro ATMs have expanded banking access in semi-urban and rural areas, allowing people to withdraw cash and check balances without visiting a bank.
CI also believes the Indian economy is very resilient. It is on a strong foundation, built on the back of strong macroeconomic management, built on the back of a lot of purposeful reforms and policy interventions that have happened in the past.
Some digital platforms are also helping the unbanked population access financial services through digital banking. Digital lending platforms and fintech solutions have made loans more accessible to small businesses and individuals and have empowered women across the country to increasingly become financially independent. Large-scale projects such as rural road construction, electrification, and urban development have boosted connectivity and economic activity.
India is at a turning point. It's at a takeoff stage. And this is at the cusp of a change in our growth trajectory. And given that we have solved a lot of issues regarding basic services, access to basic services, and having reduced extreme poverty to less than 5% almost, I think the country is at a takeoff stage where it can grow very, very rapidly, as has been done by many countries in the past.
The Aadhaar-linked direct benefit transfer system has enhanced subsidy distribution efficiency, reducing leakages and ensuring benefits reach the intended recipients. India is projected to continue growing at 6.5%, reinforcing its position as the fastest growing large economy.
You know, when we discuss globally in newspapers, which is larger economy, smaller economy, we generally discuss in terms of US dollar value. Of course, US dollar value has to be calculated because each country has its own currency. When they announce GDP, India announces in rupees, Japan in yen, etc., etc. So wo sari, we have to have the exchange rates for the whole year, etc. It has to be converted. So all these conversions generally, as a matter of standard rule, the IMF and World Bank do, and they publish it. For example, World Bank publishes World Development Indicators.
India has made remarkable strides in the global economy over the past 11 years, officially becoming the fourth largest economy in the world in 2025, surpassing Japan. This milestone reflects India's sustained economic growth, strategic reforms, and increasing global influence. India's economy crossed $4 trillion, placing it behind only the United States, China, and Germany. In purchasing power parity terms, it is the third largest economy.
We are a $4 trillion economy as I speak, and this is not my data, this is IMF data. India today is larger than Japan. So it's only the United States, China and Germany which are larger. And if we stick to what is being planned, what is being thought through, it's a matter of another 2.5 to 3 years, we would become the third largest economy.
From Digital India and Make in India to economic self-reliance under Atmanirbhar Bharat, these policies strengthened domestic manufacturing and digital commerce. India's UPI system continues to dominate the world, processing an astonishing 16.58 billion transactions in a single month. Initiatives like Make in India, Digital India and Startup India have strengthened domestic industries and attracted foreign investment. Growth in technology services, infrastructure, renewable energy and manufacturing exports has fueled India's economic momentum. India's economic rise has enhanced its role in international organizations like the G20, BRICS, IMF and WTO, allowing stronger trade negotiations. India's trajectory suggests it is well on its way to becoming a $10 trillion economy by 2035, provided it continues to sustain its growth momentum. India's economic growth has been driven by several key factors, making it one of the fastest growing major economies of the world.
The private capex is, if you look at CMI database, the announcements are quite robust, and we would like to really focus on seeing how soon these can be translated into investments on the ground. The announcements are very, very robust. The factors of capacity utilization, corporate balance sheets, banking sector balance sheets, they all very favorable. Some of the other global developments like uncertainty, tariffs, dumping of stocks from places where there is excess capacity, lower demand in some export markets. This may be bringing in some kind of caution into the whole process. But I think we are on a strong footing, strong foundation.
Strong domestic demand. India's large population fuels high consumption, particularly in sectors like retail, real estate and automobiles. Rising middle class and increasing disposable income have boosted spending. Infrastructure development. Massive investments in roads, railways, airports and urban development have improved connectivity and economic efficiency. Government initiatives like Bharatmala and Sagarmala have enhanced logistics and trade.
It's a great success story that India has become the fourth largest economy in the world. The Prime Minister has also to be congratulated because we have been following his policies, and his policies have been very, very strong policies. We have recorded, we are now the fastest growing large economy of the world, and that I think is again the credit goes to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has asked the states to come together in our journey to become developed by 2047. It's a challenge, and I think we should accept challenges. It's a good news.
The good news extends to policy reforms. Goods and services tax and simplified taxation, improved compliance. Make in India and production-linked incentives encourage manufacturing and exports.
There has been significant national level initiatives like Make in India, Make for India, focus on infrastructure, focus on in the industrial sector. All these will lead to important gains for the Indian economy.
The digital transformation has energized the economy. Digital India has expanded internet access, enabling e-commerce, fintech and digital payments. UPI, Unified Payments Interface, has revolutionized transactions, making India a leader in digital payments. Foreign investments and trade. India has attracted record foreign direct investment, particularly in technology, manufacturing and renewable energy. India has attracted $709.84 billion in total foreign direct investment between May 2014 and September 2024, accounting for 68.69% of the overall FDI inflow since April 2000. FY 2024-25 saw a 26% increase in FDI inflows, reaching $42.1 billion in the first half of this fiscal year. India remains a top global investment destination, with FDI expected to cross $100 billion annually by 2027. Trade agreements and export growth in pharmaceuticals, IT services and electronics have strengthened India's global position.
The first implication is the size of the economy. Then global investors worldwide, traders, industrialists, manufacturers, tourists, everybody is interested in coming and watching the country, which is growing so rapidly, the fastest growing economy and a very large economy. So that also means that there is purchasing power, which is increasing rapidly in this economy. This translates into an attractive destination if our per capita income also goes up. At this point of time, the milestone would mean its affirmation of the good policies of the government that we are in the right direction. And once you are in the right direction, then foreign direct investment, foreign institutional investors, they all come to you. So in that sense, you can say making a fertile ground, laying a good foundation for the economy to grow and flourish. The direction is correct. We have to add more manure to it to make it more productive. That is the effort now which I think the Prime Minister is making by telling the states, setting an example of cooperative federalism. Let's all put our heads together and grow rapidly. The environment is good. The ecosystem is good. People are looking at us in a friendly manner. Now let's reap the benefits.
The ecosystem is built around strong banking and financial sector growth. Financial inclusion programs have improved credit access. RBI's monetary policies have helped maintain economic stability. In agriculture and rural development, government support for irrigation and rural employment has sustained rural demand. Improved crop yields and food security have contributed to economic resilience.
Ultimately, what is the issue we are trying to address? We are trying to address an issue of growth and competitiveness. We are trying to address an issue of job creation. Okay. So CAPEX is one facet of it, an important one, both public and private. The second is that a large component of our workforce sits in agriculture, more than 40%. Right? We have the largest arable land in the world. We have huge room to grow vertically. The world is challenged with food and nutrition security. So focusing on productivity in agriculture through reforms in agriculture, and many of these pillars, there are some reforms that need to be done, but there are some pillars already in play. Farmer collective, digitization of agriculture, the drone Didi, creating, the ecosystem for competitiveness of agriculture, better connectivity, agri-infrastructure. So many things are in play. And focus on resilience of agriculture. Recently, the seeds of rice for resilience were released. So all of these are positives. So I think the opportunity for industry and government is together to see how we can implement and get all of these things faster to the ground so that we see better transformation at the agriculture end. So that's going to be one component that will. And once those incomes improve, you see more demand and consumption, and therefore leading to investments.
India has navigated major global challenges like the COVID-19 pandemic, geopolitical tensions, and economic disruptions through a combination of policy measures, fiscal stimulus, and strategic diplomacy. Swift lockdowns and phased reopening helped contain the virus while minimizing economic damage. India administered over 2 billion vaccine doses, ensuring public health safety. Economic stimulus packages provided relief to businesses and vulnerable populations, including direct cash transfers and food distribution.
India, over the last few years, has also made a lot of friends across the world as the first responder in the event of any health emergency or any disaster that any nation may face. In fact, many of us, when we look back at the COVID period, we found that not many nations were willing to look beyond their own needs, their own country, their own countrymen. Many countries put export controls with the objective of retaining all the available medicines or needs, including food grains, for their own people. Not necessarily with the objective of ensuring a fair and equitable distribution across the world. India, on the contrary, through our Vaccine Maitri program, we ensured that nearly 300 million vaccine doses went to the poorest countries, the less developed countries, the Pacific Island countries, the Caribbean countries, small islands, many African countries, those who could not have afforded the $30 and $20 vaccines that were otherwise available in the market. We put an export control on vaccines or export of vaccines, not to deprive the rest of the world of the vaccines we were producing, but to ensure that those who need it the most, those who cannot afford it, and in most cases, most of this 300 million went free of charge to the less developed countries.
Monetary policy interventions by the Reserve Bank of India ensured liquidity and financial stability. India diversified its oil imports to mitigate the impact of global energy price fluctuations. India maintained balanced relations with major global powers, ensuring trade stability. Increased investment in domestic defense production under Atmanirbhar Bharat. Or self-reliant India reduced dependency on foreign suppliers. India's forex reserves exceeded $600 billion, providing a buffer against external shocks. Government policies encouraged domestic manufacturing and reduced reliance on imports. RBI adjusted interest rates and liquidity to manage inflationary pressures. India's multi-layered approach has helped it to remain one of the fastest-growing economies despite global uncertainties. The benefits have been vivid in India's northeast.
So earlier it was that even if we wanted to do a large scale investment or an event, we had to think, because again of the same issues that I've said, this transportation, this logistics and all of that, we had to think thrice before organizing such a big thing. What about the people? Where do we give them? Do we actually give them the justice of calling them? But now with the growing economy and Northeast being one of the most important aspects of our country, we are getting so much of importance and people are trying to learn about us. I think it's a high time. It's going to be great. Recently, Shillong, if you see, have hosted such big concerts, which are as comparable to the foreign concerts that we usually have heard of. So with this, these are the signages. This is what growing Northeast is. And if we get the love and support, and if we keep getting the love and support like this, I think every Northeastern would be definitely proud of it.
Infrastructure expansion is setting records, with national highway construction surging from 12 kilometers per day in 2013 to over 30 kilometers per day currently. Social welfare schemes are bringing financial inclusion, farmer support, as well as healthcare access to millions. India's infrastructure investments have had a significant multiplier effect on economic growth over the past 11 years. Government infrastructure spending surged from 53,000 crore rupees in 2013-14 to 11.21 lakh crore rupees or $128.64 billion in 2024-25. That currently accounts for 3.1% of GDP. The PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan launched in 2021 has streamlined infrastructure projects, improving last-mile connectivity and reduced travel time. India's national highway network expanded from 91,284 kilometers in 2014 to 146,145 kilometers in 2024. The pace of highway construction increased 2.8 times from 12.1 kilometers per day in 2014-15 to 33.8 kilometers per day in 2023-24. Infrastructure development has boosted employment, trade and entrepreneurship, contributing to India's crossing $4 trillion in 2025. The multiplier effect of infrastructure spending is estimated to be between 2.5x to 3.5x, meaning every 1 rupee spent generates 2.5 to 3.5 rupees in economic output. India's infrastructure push has positioned it as a global economic powerhouse, with continued investments expected to drive future growth.
And Prime Minister has ensured that this could transpire because the way in which he has empowered all sections of society, true to the Prime Minister's slogan of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Sabka Vishwas. Not only that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, ensured uncompromising corruption-free governance and tech-driven last-mile delivery of services which have never been seen in any government in independent India. Also, the Prime Minister's mantra of reform, perform and transform, his emphasis on Antyodaya, that nobody is left behind, and very importantly, not just women-centric, but women-led development, and Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliance. We saw that during how indigenous vaccines made in India not only saved us, but, helped hundreds of countries in the world. Prime Minister has been a stellar example for world nations.
India's digital economy has played a transformative role in financial inclusion, economic empowerment and overall growth, making financial services more accessible to millions. India's digital public infrastructure, the India Stack, has streamlined financial transactions, improving efficiency. Digital India has fueled entrepreneurship, with fintech startups driving innovation in payments, lending and wealth management. India's digital transformation has strengthened investor confidence, contributing to sustained economic growth.
We were the 5th most fragile economy in 2014 under the Congress after 10 years, and today we are the 4th largest economy in the world. And we are a country today that is on the move. People around the world know it, countries and governments around the world know it, and we know that eventually Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's vision of making India a developed country, Viksit Bharat, will come true if all of us work together, all of us work unitedly.
India has found a unique model to hasten the speed at which financial gaps are bridged, energizing economic prosperity. Analysts describe the last 11 years under Prime Minister Narendra Modi as transformative, driving India toward becoming an economic powerhouse on the global stage. The India growth story is on a firm footing and is poised to reach new milestones. The next stop, the 3rd largest economy by 2028, followed by a developed economy by 2047. Viksit Bharat. Thanks very much for watching. Namaskar.